Alright, we're out here for a hike on Betasso Preserve. It's a hike up in Boulder County. I'm kind of in a hurry because I have to work. And I arrived a little bit later than I had planned. But here I am, and we'll give it a shot. So this trail is for hikers and mountain bikers. I don't think horses are allowed here. But it's definitely a shared trail between the bikes and the hikers. They're closed to bikers on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Alright, so it looks like I may have been wrong. There's a sign back there showing who's supposed to yield to who on the trail. And horses were on that list as well, so I guess horses are allowed here. I don't see any evidence of horses here, no. I imagine this place gets pretty busy with bikers. I forgot to mention I got here a little bit later, I guess, than I wanted to. And I've got about 45 minutes to do 3 miles. So I need to average 4 miles an hour, so I'll probably be jogging on the downhill sections. That was ironic. I said I'll probably be jogging on the downhill segments. Right after I turned off the recording, a jogger came by and jogged by me and going the opposite direction. Maybe you can't see it, but there's a deer over there laying down behind a fallen tree. Maybe you can see it wiggling its ears around underneath that tree. Pretty. Alright, like I said, I'm going to jog the downhills. Here's a downhill. And I'm jogging. I used to do this when I was a teenager. I used to go backpacking a lot in California. And I would always run on the downhill sections. And my average speed back then was 4 miles an hour, like clockwork. I've got a lot of downhill here. I've been running a bit. I was finding it a bummer when I start a trail off going downhill because I know I'm going to have to finish going up, or at least I'm going to have to go up at some point. I guess it's normal. But it's a lovely day. I'm happy to be out here spending some time in nature, getting some exercise before I have to go to work. A friend of mine, we were talking about how the difference between empathy and compassion are that in empathy, you put yourself in the other person's shoes, mentally, I guess, and then you feel for them. You feel maybe what they're feeling. And I do not do that. I guess in my job as a paramedic, I feel like it's detrimental. I don't feel like you would last very long in that job if you had empathy for every patient that you had. However, compassion doesn't necessarily require empathy. Compassion just means that you are trying to help someone. Well, the question I had is that I don't think compassion is altruistic, maybe. Actually, maybe I don't think anything's altruistic. I think everybody does everything because of how it makes them feel. Maybe I help people at my job because it makes me feel better about myself. And maybe that's the only thing that we have. If it didn't make us feel good, then we wouldn't do it. I don't know, that's a philosophical discussion for another day, I suppose. I suppose I'll share the hard lesson that I learned about empathy in my job. This is a long time ago, back in the 90s. I was working as a paramedic or maybe an EMT back then, I'm not sure. Anyways, we had this patient that would call all the time, an older couple, and they would always call for the husband of the pair when he had a doctor's appointment or he needed a ride for an appointment to the hospital. He would call 911, and we would take him. We would try to tell him that 911 was not for appointments but for emergencies, and we gave the non-emergency number, but they mostly still called 911, and I was always in the back with him on the way to wherever we were going. So I would listen to his stories about his life, and I suppose I started feeling a connection to him. And I don't know how many times we took him. It must have been over a dozen times. And so one time we get a call again to go to their house, but this time it sounded like he had passed away. He was in cardiac arrest. So we responded. I got to the house and he was laying in bed. He had no pulse. He wasn't breathing. And so I was going to put all my efforts into trying to resuscitate him. So I moved the blankets off of him, and I was getting ready to pick him up and put him in the living room so we could do CPR. And his wife puts her hand on my shoulder. Ooh, I gotta be careful, I'm gonna cry. She puts her hand on my shoulder and she tells me that he's gone and that he wouldn't want to be resuscitated. She says she called the non-emergency number. She said she called the non-emergency number because she didn't know what else to do, but that she didn't want him to be resuscitated, and he didn't want that either. And instead of having all my energy go into resuscitating him, it was like I hit a wall, and I felt all my emotions welling up. And I was about to cry. So I went outside. I was going to say it took me a long time to recover from that, but honestly, I'm not sure if I've recovered still. And that was like 30 years ago, maybe. Still, when I talk about that story, I get tears in my eyes sometimes, and right now I can feel a lump in my throat. But that taught me a hard lesson, maybe, that I can't let myself become attached to my patients. If I did that with everybody, I would have been destroyed, and I wouldn't be in the same job still. So maybe that's why I don't have empathy to my patients anymore, but I still feel like I have compassion. Alright, I've got about 20 minutes left and probably a bit over a mile to go, so I really need to keep up the pace. I don't know if I'm going to have much more downhill. I feel like I did all the downhill in the first half. I'm going a little bit up now, but we'll see. It looked like the very end was a bit downhill, so I might climb up to a peak of the trail and then descend for the last bit. So maybe I'll have the opportunity to speed it up a bit at the end. And if not, I might be late to work. Hopefully not. I've been running quite a bit, and looks like I'm almost there. I'm at 50 minutes. It's 9:30 right now. I should be leaving for work as we speak. There's the parking lot. So Time to run some more. All right, that's it for Betasso Preserve today. A lovely hike. Next time I'll come with more time so I can stop to smell the flowers, if you will. All right, until next time.